This video went viral last week when Martin Sani, also known as the Frog Poison King, shared footage of what appears to be a massive bot farm allegedly targeting Ignition and Bovada. The poker community exploded and Ignition responded with a statement that raises as many questions as it answers. In today's video, we're going to jump into a deep investigation trying to uncover who's behind the botting scandal and learning more about how poker rooms are planning to protect us. So for those who don't know me and are new to the channel, my name is Fernando. I'm a professional PLO player since 2010. I'm known in the industry as Jane Andis, and I'm teaching PLO as well since over a decade. With that out of the way, let's jump into today's video investigation. In the first frame, we do see a bunch of laptops arranged in the middle of a table. They are obviously not operated by any human, and they are running a poker software on the screen. In this first frame, you see there's one table that is red. This is the typical layout of Bovada or Ignition. If you put it side by side, you can clearly recognize this is the software that is currently running. And on the table, we do see two hole cards exactly. So this has to be Hold'em. And if you look at the seats, we have 8 seats filled and 9 seats in total. So this should be a tournament as the cash games on Bovada run 6-handed. So as we go around the table, we can now see the middling laptop runs 2 tables. So maybe a 2-table setup is possible, most likely. Maybe on the other laptops, they already busted one of their tournaments. This could be a theory behind the fact that there are some 2-table setups and 1-table setups running on other laptops. So as we go around the table, we will now see the second laptop, as we're holding the frame, has a disappearing table, which shows that they are also botting zone games, which is basically the Russian cash or Zoom format on PokerStars. I'm not sure if this is a tournament anymore or if this is now a cash game. Does Bovada offer zone tournaments? Let me know in the comments if you know something about that. So now as we're moving past the laptops, we can see they also have a desktop station set up right here with a 2-table setup, and the wallpaper of this 2-table setup computer is the Windows 11 default wallpaper. Windows 11 was released at the end of 2021 and there's no newer version out there. So we know this has to be in between the end of 2021 and today based on the Windows operating system that is running on this computer. Some clothing hanging from the top here, another still of the Windows 11 version. So we're zooming here into the large screen and we can see there is an application running, the blue one, which basically points towards the map in the United States, and there's a little dot in the middle pointing to most likely a server location in Chicago. So they're using a VPNing connecting into the United States because that is where Bovada is allowed. And they're probably using several locations within the US to connect to in order to disguise where they're actually connecting from. So moving along, we do see 2 individuals over here, one sitting on the chair, another one standing walking towards the camera. The quality isn't good enough to identify them, but I'm pretty sure we're looking here at 2 middle-aged men. And I'm also pretty sure they're not playing in the games, but probably just operating and maintaining the machines and the setup. This is obviously just pure speculation on my end and my personal opinion. Nothing has been proven in court and people are assumed to be innocent. We're moving into the second room, bunch of cables here, a lot of desktop computers. We do see a 2-tabling setup, a Boston Celtics logo, a mobile air conditioner, and a bunch more computers, as well as an ExpressVPN software in the background on another setup. And this is where the video ends. So this is the video, and this is where things become really interesting because Ignition comes out with a response a couple of days after the surfacing of this video, claiming that this video is outdated and all the accounts have been identified and terminated already all the way back in 2022. And if we want to take that word at face value, then it does raise 2 major questions. Number 1, how many accounts were actually identified, were banned, and how many funds were confiscated, and if those funds were redistributed towards the players. It's very important to know if you get cheated on the site, is the site going to reimburse you? Are they going to be transparent, or are they going to pocket the rake plus the confiscated funds? And the second question is, if your site is supposed to be bot free, then what's going on with this video that was published yesterday where someone played an extremely weird hand in the $1,000 no limit hold'em MTT on your site on the bubble? So this video was posted yesterday by Brandon Hamlet on X, and it showcases him playing a $1,000 tournament no limit hold'em, and they are on the exact bubble. So the chip leader, which is now on screen there on the bottom left table, opened limps even though there are a massive amount of micro stacks behind it. In fact, the big blind only has 0.6 big blinds behind after checking his option pre-flop. This is not a logically consistent play with any good MTT player unless you want to chip dump your chips from your massive stack to the micro stack in the big blind. If you are colluding in a tournament, because of the pay champ dynamic, it's a massive advantage to be able to give the shortest stack players a couple more chips so they survive the bubble against the other players who are not part of the collusion ring. So this requires a bit more understanding. But if you do understand how poker tournaments work, then you understand the power that colluders have when they chip dump to each other. In this case, it's a limp pot, very unusual, and then it gets checked down to the river. The player in the big blind shoves for the remaining 0.6 big blinds and gets the snap fold. It even looks like the guy in position was sitting out, just guaranteeing the fold and dumping the chips to the player in the big blind. So this is not definite proof, but it's extremely suspicious, and it would be a very effective method of chip dumping if you're controlling multiple accounts. So eyeing this footage, I would make the conclusion that bots are certainly still on Ignition. That's just my personal opinion, I don't have any proof. Maybe the first video, the whole bot operation, was an older video from 2022. And maybe those accounts were removed, or maybe they weren't. But I do think there's a strong likelihood that in no limit hold'em tournaments, these bots still run on Ignition. I also want to mention it's important to understand for players that poker sites do have an incentive to allow bots on their site, unless poker players, the community as a whole, keeps them accountable and exposes the bots and basically tells people it's not safe to play. CoinPoker put together a good example this week of being transparent and accountable. They put out a statement saying that they are going to redistribute $156,466 to players that were affected in the ban of 98 bot accounts on their site over the last few months. I also want to emphasize that I don't think that cheating and colluding is nearly as prevalent in other formats such as Pot Limit Omaha. I'm obviously biased, I play PLO and I teach PLO, I have a PLO business. However, I played on Ignition for many years and I've been always profitable, cashed out a lot of money from the site. I never encountered any issues playing 10-20 and 5-10 PLO cash. I did hear from some of my friends that they did find some weird collusion at times going on, but I personally have never seen it. Ignition has a great feature, which is that you can download your hand histories 24 hours after the fact and reveal everyone's whole cards. And that makes a lot of sense because the tables are anonymous anyway. So you're not leaking any personal information, but it allows you to self-police the games. I've done this when I've played mid and high stakes on the site, and I've never found anything weird or remotely weird happening on their site in PLO. So it might just be that the MTT section in No Limit is affected. It might be that there is some botting or collusion going on at lower stakes. From what I can tell though, at higher stakes it looked always clean and the games were incredibly soft. My closing thoughts on this video. In today's day and age, with AI and also with a lot of segregated market, smaller markets, not worldwide poker anymore, it is a bit of a wild west out there when it comes to online poker. You will find games that are incredibly soft, very beatable, and you can make a lot of money in them. However, a lot of the times those games are happening on smaller sites or apps where the security is potentially non-existent. So it is the Wild West, and it is kind of a high upside, high downside situation. And you need to be able to assess that if you want to capture those opportunities by acquiring a skill set where you understand how to identify profitable games, safe games, and unsafe and unprofitable games. If you don't want to deal with any of that, then I would recommend to just play on the biggest and most regulated sites. PokerStars, GG, CoinPoker, those are sites that are big enough where their security team is well funded and they really care about their reputation in the market. And lastly, if you play a format that has more combinatorics and is therefore more expensive to solve for and also offers a smaller pool of liquidity, meaning it is less profitable for the botting ring, then you came to the right channel, because we teach PLO 4-card, 5-card, and 6-card. So if you think about switching over from no limit hold'em cash or tournaments, or you're already in the greatest game and you want to level up, then make sure to hit the subscribe button. And I'll see you guys in the next video when we talk again about pot limit Omaha strategy.